I'm Emillio. I'm from Clovis, New Mexico, and I am 23 years old. It was kind of rough growing up at a very young age. Like my earliest memories, I just remember guns being on a little coffee table with change, and canned foods where like rats were just roaming around and stuff like that. We lived in a very bad situation. It was tough growing up. Didn't have my father, didn't have my mother really around that much. So it was kind of tough being raised around like the hoodlum kids and everyone, all the bad kids pretty much. And I was a bad kid myself. So the earliest time I remember started hearing about God was I was living with my grandmother and my auntie Des. At the time she didn't have a house, so she came to live with us as well. And I guess one of these days Carrie ran into my auntie Desiree, and before in the past our family used to go to church, and we weren't going yet, but my auntie Des ended up getting witnessed to, and then she ended up coming back home letting us know that we're going to start going to church. And then from there we just started attending the Potter's House Christian Fellowship Church. The year of 2018, I ended up going to the boot camp, the Christian boot camp for our church, and I truthfully got saved at that boot camp. A lot of powerful messages were being preached there, and I was really convicted a lot with a lot of the things they were saying. They were teaching, us about what sin really is, and if you're still in sin. And I think I truthfully got saved over there at one of the services. Whenever I was in church, I really wasn't taking it that serious. I was pretty much just playing around and not really taking God serious at all. I wasn't praying. I wasn't reading my Bible. I wasn't pretty much doing anything that was beneficial for my life whenever I wasn't saved. So as soon as I realized that they were preaching about all the things that we need to do as Christians, not that I didn't learn it in church, but I felt I guess it was aimed towards more our generation, whereas us younger folks. And I think that's what was the big difference, was it was aimed towards us children that we might not think we need to take it serious at our age, you know what I mean? And maybe we should just wait until the time comes, I guess. That's at least how I viewed it. And then, it made me realize that there's also so many characters in the Bible, that started at a younger age, that were, they followed God at a younger age, and that our age doesn't matter, Pretty much having a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, and mainly staying in contact with him and actually being involved. Because a lot of us can just say that prayer. At least whenever I wasn't saved, I said the prayer, but you know what I mean? After that, I went straight back into doing what I wanted to do. But, that personal relationship of keeping on and not, turning back and really making that 180 from your old life onto, your walk. No matter what you're going through, no matter any hard times, that you're going through, if you come from a broken family or not, or even if you come from a family that has, you have your parents around, you have your siblings around and stuff like that, to still press on to know about Jesus, even if you're not saved. Because if I would have been saved way earlier, I feel I could have been a lot further in my walk, you know what I mean? And a lot more, I guess, more in tune with my walk than I am now. So I would, just encourage that, whatever age you are, just to try your best, do your best, to get to know God. The joy and the peace, because Yeah, we're always going to go through things. We're always going to face certain things in life, and we can't stop it. But God's always there, and he's always helping, and he's never left us. And from a sinful standpoint, whenever you're out there in the world, you don't really have that peace or that joy that God really brings whenever you're in the midst of your problems. I'd say the lowest point of my life was whenever I had backslid. I remember just walking away from the church and pretending like I didn't know God because of how hurt I was towards just God in certain situations. And I still felt that conviction, like that I was wrong, that I wasn't right. But, in those moments I felt so low because I knew what was right, and I knew that I shouldn't have ever turned my back on God, because I realized the joy and the peace and everything that God has to offer was just amazing. Growing up, I didn't ever have like love from my mother or my father, so I looked for it in like wrong situations, like trying to find it in girls and like drugs and stuff. But I was looking for love mainly in like, I guess feeling accepted by someone else, and I guess I wanted what every other young person that like I grew up around, like in school, was like, having a relationship by a girlfriend. They looked happy, you know what I mean? And I never really had that like in anyone. So, God really showed me that, I need to love him first, because he's the only love that's really gonna be unconditional for me. So I guess I was pretty much searching for like unconditional love. Love from somebody else is like, it only satisfies just like a piece, not completely like what I expect love to be. Like Jesus's love is everything I expect love to be, you know what I mean? And the love you get from other people isn't always what you're expecting it to be. I encourage any of you guys who are, not saved, and or maybe even were saved, that you get your heart right and that you turn your life to God, because I know that he's everything that we're looking for, even whenever we don't think it is. But he's technically that missing piece in our life that completes us like to a whole nother level. So I encourage you to get your heart right. That's fine.